Hey guys, what's up? It's Chaos Uchi, joined by my two lovely guests, Josh, also known as SVNBirch, and then Riley. I don't know if Riley, do you have a cool name that you go by?
Yeah, it's just Riley.
Okay, cool. So just Riley, SVNRyley, and then we're gonna go over some Lorcana cards that are coming out. I think we're gonna do this every set now, but we'll just instead of covering the entire set, we're just going to be covering the legendaries. Just because, I think Josh would also agree with me that the super rares from last set didn't really cost much, even though they were sort of the more playable cards anyway. Um, so we want you to make sure that you're not spending money on cards that might just be not very good on release, and we want you to know which cards are sort of the Rapunzels and emo beast, so you know kind of what to look out for and what deals to get, etc. We'll be rating these cards out of 5. Just give 5 being the highest, and then we'll just quickly talk over each one. The first card of this legendaries is Kida. So she has the ability to shift for free on top of other Kidas. They all came out this set, so I think there's just 2, right? If I'm...
There's a amber one, there's a steel bodyguard one like Simba, and then there's this one.
Yeah, so there's. I meant like 2 that she can shift on. Obviously, she can shift on herself.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then she has the ability, perhaps we can save our future. When you play this character, all characters get -3 power until the start of your next turn. So it's kind of just. I think this card is like. I like this card in terms of it's cool and how it's designed and the artwork for it. It's also a mummy, so just all for ticking a lot of the boxes for me. I just feel like her ability should be constant instead of just like when you play her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if it was more like a continuous effect, I could see like the appeal, but for me, I'm like not really big on the effect. It's just like your opponent will just wait, sort of thing. They're just like, okay, sure, and just either hit you with removal things and not really challenge much, and just build up their board. That's why I like the effect.
I think it can be like quite strong with certain color combinations, like or with certain like rush characters like Madam and Fox and like Maui. But unless you're like playing it with them, I don't really see the point of getting the -3 power. Even -3 power is not really enough. Like literally the queen that can shift on, like the bigger queen that shifts on top of the small one. When she quests, she does a better job than this card does, and this is like a legendary. So
yeah, I don't know. I think there's just better things in those color combinations you could be playing for a 5 cost anyway.
Unless there was like more cards that like specifically affect princess characters, I don't see this being like very heavily played at all.
No. I think some people might play it a little bit and then it'll just fall off, sort of thing.
I can only see it holding value in collectability because Atlantis legendary as well, and I know a lot of people like Atlantis. But other than that, I think this card's kind of mid. I'd probably give it like a. I know it sounds harsh, but I think I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like alright, but not great.
Okay, so we'll head on to the next card. We have a very good legendary here. This is one. I think this might be one of my favorite ones from this set because I like playing Amber. Amber's probably my favorite ink color to play with. So I don't even know how do you even say her name actually.
Perdita, maybe.
Perdita.
We'll go Perdita.
Yeah, devoted mother. So we got mums for both, mummies for both of the Amber legendaries. She has the ability Come Along Children. Whenever you play this character, and whenever she quests, you can play a 2 cost or less from your discard for free. Now, this card is very, very cracked for me. The fact that sorry, go on.
The first thing I think of when I see this card is Rockstar Stitch.
Yeah.
I think it just goes crazy with Rockstar Stitch.
Yep, 100%. Even without the Rockstar, like the fact that it's on play and when questing, which it had to be in my opinion, because like to get around things like Ladies Remain, for example.
Yeah.
So like if someone be prepared to your board, this is really strong to slap down after, because now there's 2 bodies instantly that need to be answered instead of just 1. And like there's a lot of strong 2 costs. We have like Bodyguard Simba, and now we have Bodyguard Kida as well, which is like basically the same stat line.
I think it's just like, I think it really helped in the Amber for Amber Amethyst particularly, because I think it really helps their Steel matchup, because the fact that it's just got like 6 willpower, that's just really difficult for Steel to deal with. And you can just constantly be returning like high questers from your grave, like Pinocchios and stuff like that. I think it's
I agree, that's really strong too. And like you said, if you have a Rockstar, I mean, I think it's asking a lot, but if you do have a Rockstar Stitch out and this card, you're getting draw power every time she basically quests as well. And or you could play like potentially 2 costs with higher willpower, like Phil from I think from set 1, who is like a 3/1, and you can just keep using them to crash into something and then bring them back, if that makes sense. So like,
and like you said about Simba being able to come back, you're just constantly being able to get a bodyguard back each turn potentially is just also really good in a grind game.
Yeah, I think this is going to be good in both, like you're saying, in Amber Amethyst aggro. I think this can also be like very strong in a Still Song bodyguard deck as well.
I mean, it quests for 2 as well. It's just like, it's just really good.
Yeah,
like,
I think really this is decent. In terms of a score, I'd probably give this a 4, just like a solid 4. I don't think it's like
I think if it was inkable, it'd be a lot better.
Oh yeah, if it's inkable, it would probably go up to like 4.5 for me. But I mean, you have a lot of the inkable cards usually in that like Amber style decks, and like, I mean, I think it had to be uninkable for its effect at stat line, in my opinion. So.
That's fair.
So
I agree. I think it's about 4 or 5.
We'll go on to the problem card of the set, Jafar. I think it's me and you.
So this is a 5 out of 5, right?
Yeah, this is the best card that the game has. This is the best card that we have had in the game ever. It's just too strong. Literally, I think everyone and their mum knows, and they thought about it when this card was revealed. But a whole new world of this card goes pretty crazy. Just being able to gain 7 lore at all, let alone in one instance, is kind of mad. Like, I think what have we seen similar to that before? It's just it's been Bell, right? Ramp Bell and Tamatoa and stuff like that. And even then, like they've never really been able to do. Nothing's been able to do 7.
No, I think the fact that it's just like it just makes it so that you just have to play more removal stuff, because it's like you cannot risk a Jafar sticking on turn 4. You just can't risk it because you don't want to go down by 7 lore. And like the fact that it's got evasive as well, it's like a lot of things can't deal with it. Like, you can't like punch over it with most evasive things. You can't get rid of it with most removal steel stuff because it's just got like strong willpower.
I think
it's just
I mean, like they did try to counter that with Along Came Zeus, so you can deal 5 damage to a character with a song now in steel. But I still don't think that's enough realistically, because you've got.
I think like I just don't know why they gave it evasive. Like, it's just so good already. Putting evasive on it just makes it even more nuts.
Nah, it is very strong. It's going to change the meta for sure. I think probably Purple still will be the best deck of set 3. And even though it's early days, I just still think it's a bit crazy.
The fact it just turns your Merlin rabbits into Merlin goats for me is just nuts. Like, Like, yeah, sure. I'm just, if you try and board wipe me, I'm going to gain 2 lore and draw 2 cards probably. So it's just like,
I think that's just if it
nuts
sticks
for me.
around, right? Like we're saying, I just don't really see this card sticking around in the field for longer
Yeah.
than a turn. I mean, if it does, then you're just like royally like
I think if
fucked. Like kind of, you're not gonna
I
you're
think
not
if
gonna
you
be
can
able to.
get this card out, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think like everyone will just, as soon as they see a Jafar come out, will devote their turn to getting rid of it, because they just know that if they see that shift Jafar get shifted on, like they're just gonna probably lose the game. Like that's just how strong this card is.
Well, it doesn't even it doesn't really matter if it gets removed because it's done its job once you've sung a whole new world with this card. It's just
Yeah.
it's gained 7 lore,
Definitely.
so it's already done its job. Like 7 in is like basically almost like I think you said earlier, almost a third of your win condition. So and that's not to mention, you know, you've probably just been questing before, and then we were discussing that alongside this card you could potentially play like locations after you've sung a whole new world, or put down some spell books, and you can gain a lot of passive lore income after you've already gained 7. So like that's really like a lot for your opponent to have to start dealing with, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, this is like, very strong for sure.
Yeah, definitely a 5 out of 5.
I
I'm just
think,
like, if your friends on the other side becoming gain 2 lore plus draw 2 cards is also just really good as well.
I do want to note it that we are saying that this card is good, but we're not necessarily. I mean, I don't know if I'm talking about everyone here, but I'm not a fan of this card existing for the game. I do think it's a bad thing.
No, it's not healthy for the game at all. It's the best card. It's the best legendary. I'm just going to get it out of the way now. Like, without a doubt.
This is going to be expensive.
Yeah, it's not healthy for the game.
This is going to be like probably. Well, if Emo Beast was kind of like in the 20-30 range, I could see this being even like more. And there's a lot of hype around him, so it'll be like, if you get what I'm trying to say.
So, yeah, I think just like having a card that enables something like a whole new wheel to be even stronger somehow, even though that is like already a really, really good card, just like it's nuts.
It's true. And it's not even just that, there's like a lot of other good songs. So obviously consistency wise, you might not see your whole new world by that turn, but you do have things like Friends from the Other Side, which will gain you 2 extra lore and draw you 2 cards. There's a lot of like steel cards, and there's even a steel location that lets you draw 1 trash 1 and stuff like that. So there are like loads of ways to start like using it, even if you didn't like have the full combo version of it, if that makes sense.
And the thing is, one of the new Jafars in the new set, the 3-cost one, like when you play him and when you quest with him, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck and just put them in any order, so like either top or bottom stuff. So like if your whole new wheel's in the top of any of those 2, you can just stack it and then just wait.
Of course. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like it's just nuts.
It's probably unlikely because of how consistent Steel and Amethyst are together, but I'm just saying, like, even if you do miss the full combo, like the worst case scenario is probably still pretty decent with this card.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll move on to the other Amethyst legendary, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. So she has 2 abilities. Dark Knowledge. Whenever this character quests, you can draw a card. It's pretty good. And Divination. During your turn, whenever you draw a card, you may move 1 damage counter from a chosen character to an opponent's one. I think that's pretty good as well.
It's fine. I
actually think this card would be good, and I do think so. So the effects of this card for me is not what the problem is. It's the 2/3 that is.
Yeah, there's stuff. I like it.
Even if it was just 1 more, if it was like 3/4 or 2/5,
smashed or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just asking to get like taken away. But I suppose that's not a bad thing either.
Yeah.
But for 5 cost, you don't really want to play out something that's just gonna get you in, if that makes sense. And even like questing wise, it's probably only gonna quest once unless you have bodyguards and stuff. It's probably just gonna get challenged straight away.
Yeah. The thing is as well, it's just like if your opponent looks at this card and goes, right, if I play my big Tinkerbell and stuff like that, they can move 1 damage or something like that. They'll just kill things in 1 hit, and you'll never be able to really get this effect off if they know what you're trying to do. Like, it works with like Tiefling ambitions, yeah, but like that's in the grand scheme of things, like probably about it. Like, it's good with like grab you if they grab your swords you, but then they'll just try and kill this anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the second. I don't really think the second part of the effect is cool,
Yeah.
and I like seeing this effect for Amethyst because it doesn't really have removal in itself that much.
Yeah.
But it is nice to see like this effect where you're moving damage off of your characters onto your opponents. I think that's quite cool. But like I said, I just think the stat line just makes it sort of unplayable. So for me, I'd probably give this. I'm looking more like a 2 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I'd probably give it about a 2 out of 5 as well.
Okay.
To be honest, it's just not really doing what I'd want something that cost to do.
We're gonna move on to Milo. I'm gonna let Josh take this card because I think this is his favorite card from this set. So Josh, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, and you're definitely not wrong. This is the card I'm going to be running 4 of in my deck. So Milo Thatch, King of Atlantis, cost of 7, not inkable, not really too much of a problem considering it's a shift 4, which you can do not only on the 1-cost Milo, but also on the green little morph. So fantastic. But it's really its key ability, take them by surprise. When this character is banished, return all opposing characters to their player's hand. If they were banished, the opposing characters, I mean, then that would be so good. Returning them all to hand's pretty good still. It's also got 3 lore on it, so that's pretty strong already. And I imagine people might be hesitant to try and swing over this or deal with this, depending on how many characters they've got out on the field. So combo this with Along Came Zeus, target yourself. If your opponent's going wide and you've got this out, you can clear your opponent's board.
Yeah,
It's true.
I agree. Like, this card's really good.
I also want to
in my
mention
opinion.
this, unless your opponent has bodyguards, this is also quite a big challenging threat into your, because it's whenever he's banished, so you can just swing 4 into something and to unalive himself, and then bounce your opponent's board as well, which is pretty strong.
I think like they finally fixed these big characters. They sort of realised where they missed with Bell last set, where it's just whenever it's challenged, and they went, right, we'll make it so whenever it's banished instead. And I think that's just like made like that wording's just made it so much better. Because like with Bell, it was just like sure, you can just remove it, then it doesn't really do the thing you want it to do. Whereas with this, it's like you have to basically just be playing blue and put it into an inkwell.
Yeah, I think
Or bounce it with like emerald or something. It's just very hard to get rid of.
Purple Yzma can get rid of it as well without its effect popping off.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is a very annoying card to deal with.
Like it's got a really good stuff as well.
Emerald being the king of being annoying, as per usual. Josh, if you have to rate this card out of 5, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it a 4. I think there are a couple things which should make it a 5, but as it stands, it is a 4.
Riley?
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 4 as well. It's like, it's just really good with Morph. Like, Morph makes this card so much better.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one, which is Ursula. I'll let Riley take this one first, and then Josh can chime in after, because I know Riley really likes this card.
It has the ability called What a Deal. So it says whenever this character's free, then put it on the bottom of your deck. Like, I think this card just like is just so much value. It's like crazy. Like the fact you can just do double strength for a Raging Fire to just basically kill anything, depending on how much characters you have. Like double Let the Storm Rage on, so you're drawing 2 cards and dealing 4 damage to something is nuts. You can draw 4 with friends on the other side, draw 4 with the new, bring honor to us all. It's like just ridiculous the things you can do with this card, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
I don't.
sorry, I didn't even realize that the card lets you put the song onto the bottom of your deck as well, which is pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, it recycles your songs and also doubles them. It's so much value. It's ridiculous. It's like it's just like Aerial but in Emerald, in my opinion. Like instead of searching songs, you just get double them. It's just so dumb.
Oh, sorry, Josh, what were you gonna say?
I don't run song decks really, so I probably am not seeing its true value for what it's worth compared to you, Riley, for instance. Don't get me wrong, I understand the effect and I think it's a good card, but it's still it's 3 costs, so you're going to try and get out early, obviously, but it's also got small stat lines, so it is quite easy to manage and get rid of. So you might only get 1 use from it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, you can kill it like quite easily. It's the same as with Aerial, though, where it's like if you play this turn 3 and it gets smashed, you're sort of just like, that's a shame. But if it doesn't get smashed and it sticks, and you can start doing nonsense with it the following turn, I think it's just like an absolute powerhouse of a card. If you can get it to stick, it's really strong, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I do think this is actually, I actually think this might be potentially the second best legendary of the set. But
Yeah, I
it's
think like this double
pairing.
songs is good.
Its pairings again is quite limited to what it can be paired with. Like it can only really be paired with Amethyst and Still, unless there's like potentially other songs that I'm missing that I'm not really seeing. Maybe.
I mean, you can get double BR guests, I guess. Like, that's probably about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Amber, it's not too bad actually, because there are some good Amber songs, but I don't think there's that many that are that low cost, unless I'm not really thinking of any off the top of my head. But yeah, like yeah, I think I think this has a lot of ceiling to grow as a card past this set as well.
I'm just glad. I'm just glad they didn't give it like the Jafar treatment where they just made it broken. Like, this is a fair effect and a fair stat line, where it's like if you jump through the hoop, then you get this to resolve. It's really nice, but it's also be dealt with. Unlike Jafar with like pretty evasives.
No, I agree. So if you have to give this card a rating out of 5, what would you give it?
I think it's 4.5. Like, just out of like playableness and like fairness and stuff, I think it's just a really good card design.
Yeah, for me, I rate it 3.
We'll move on to Ruby. I'll let you guys cover this as well, because I'm the #1 Ruby hater. Hydra. I'll just read the card for you guys. Hydra, Lethal Snake.
Yeah.
Watch the teeth. When this character is damaged, deal the same amount of damage to chosen opposing character. Yeah, take it away, guys.
What do you think, Josh?
I like it. It's a bit of spice for sure. I think it's got really strong stat lines of 6/5 plus with 2 lore. It kind of seems like it's a take on the retaliation type of cards, where instead of banishing the character that challenges you, you just deal the same damage. So I think it can be a right pain in the ass to deal with.
I think it just absolutely chews up steel decks depending on when you play it. Because if they try and wipe your board and stuff, or like pings things, you can just like take out a lot of their field with this thing. At first, the first thing I thought of when I saw this card was like Teeth and Ambitions. When you play Teeth and Ambitions on this thing, you're dealing 4 damage to something in exchange for 2. It's like, I don't know. I think this card's like decent. I don't think it's as good as like obviously Jafar or Isla in my opinion, but I think it's like very strong as well.
Yeah, I didn't read it like that actually, so you've just clarified that for me. I read it as whoever challenges it would have the damage dealt back, but if it's chosen opposing character, that is super problematic. Because even if I one-shot it with then along came Zeus, I've got rid of the card, great, but immediately one of my cards is then going to be totaled.
Oh yeah, it 2-for-1s everything. It's like it's a very good card for like just like dealing with a lot of things. It's just like obviously you can also instead of just like questing with it and having it as a defensive card, you can also just swing with it and make it into like a 1-for-2 where you just swing over one thing, and then if it's like kills it, sure, you're just going to kill something else as well. So you've killed 2 bodies for the price of 1.
I think
damn.
I think they could have used this potentially as an opportunity to make a better Maui and give this rush.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's missing because this.
Oh no! If they gave this rush, it's kind of stupid.
No, but at the moment, this isn't surviving. This 100% is not surviving like the next turn.
Yeah, I think the problem is if you like against Ruby, this comes out turn 6. If they're going into turn 7, they have to be prepared. It's just sort of like, well, guess I'm just not getting any value out of this thing.
True. Yeah, and
against like
against anything that has hard removal, it doesn't trigger its
like
effect.
Hades as well. Hades turn 7.
Yeah.
Like just like that also just does it. Like yeah, I think this card is only really good into steel matchups.
Even like I don't know how popular Still Song's going to be into this set. I'm hoping it will probably be good still, but obviously we never know until the meta's kind of established. But
yeah,
World's Greatest Criminal Mind just kills this for free as well. Like even if you are worried as a Still Song player, you have a long game Zeus, but you don't really want to. You're not going to use that if you just have World's Greatest Criminal, just to send it away for free.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's.
The thing is, if you use a long game Zeus on this, your opponent has went up a card because you've had to use 2 cards to get rid of this one thing, because it will just kill something, your best thing.
Oh no, I'm saying you wouldn't use the long game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can't do any damage effects to this thing because you just go down in value so much. You have to like try and just use other removal if you can.
Yeah, I mean but also, I mean it's kind of weak to a bodyguard as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it depends. Yeah, no, I think it is like probably the Prince is going to see a lot more play into this set.
If this runs over a bodyguard, though, it just kills something else. I don't know, because it can only deal 1 damage, I guess, which is true. I guess it just depends on the matchup.
Yeah, I think
it's like it can be situational. I think.
But I don't.
I'd give it like a 3 out of 5.
I think if it was Inkable, it would be a lot stronger.
Yeah, I think if it had Rush, it would be a whole different card.
If it had Rush, it'd be. I wouldn't say it would even be the best. That's the crazy thing. If this had Rush, I wouldn't say it's the best card of this Legendary of the set either.
Oh no, it's not. It's definitely not. Like, but it's still just really strong. I think it's just so much value. Just being able to like, it just really just like for me, it's just like makes my Redeemer faster. Like match up in steel just a little bit easier.
You can give it Rush with White Rabbit's Pocket Watch.
If Ruby Amethyst decides to play this, it just helps their steel matchup a lot more.
True. Yeah, Josh, what would you rate this card?
I'd rate it a 4. I think for me, being a green steel player, this is going to be an incredibly problematic card.
I mean, but like if they banish, for example, if they put like damage onto a lot of your characters have. I get that, but you have a lot of ward characters as well, and this effect won't work with ward characters on the field.
That's true. It does depend on what I have out though.
Yeah,
the fact that this card can't even kill a Bucky is funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Won't be touching a Kuzco.
We'll go on to one of the cooler cards of this set as well, Jim Hawkins. So he has 2 abilities. This is it. When you play this character, you may play a location with a cost of 4 or less for free. Take the helm. Whenever you play a location, this character may move there for free. So it seems like 2 very strong abilities. The stat line is okay as a 4/4. That quest for 2, and it's inkable. I'll let Riley go first.
It's a 4/4. Like that's good. It just depends how many locations people are playing. Because if you play this card, you have to play a lot of locations. Otherwise, you're not getting any value out of it. And then if you do really want to play a lot of locations, because they can just sort of break up your hand if they're not like really, really good ones, so like, you know, the ward evasive one or something like that, or like the ship. Like the fact that you just go, cool, I'm going to get 9 ink worth of cards for 5 cost is pretty nice.
Josh, what do
And
you
the fact you
think
can just
about?
move, so you can play him.
Josh, what do you think about this card?
Well, I'm happy they're introducing more Treasure Planet cards first and foremost. But I think it'll be interesting to see how the meta actually evolves and plays out with locations. And if locations are like pivotal to most decks, then I can see this card being added for red decks. It's with the location base very good. 4/4's not about either for its stat line. And Questing for 2, not bad again. I feel like it's just a good standard card.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
I think
this like much like Ursula is just a strong. It's like a card that's just gonna keep getting stronger over time as well. Like anytime they release a new location or even like a free cost song, you're gonna go back to like Ursula and Jim Hawkins and go, like maybe this is like even way more stronger now. So I do think it could be potentially always like a meta relevant card for at least a couple more sets.
my first thoughts with him were just like, if you have that ward evasive land in your hand, that costs 4, so you can play him turn 5, play the ward evasive land, and then because you played a location, you can move him there for free.
Sure.
And you just have a 4/4 with ward and evasive that costs for 2.
That is very strong.
Which is a pretty nice combo.
That is
just like, then you just have to build your deck around that.
And you'll at least be getting like one more quest in. Well,
No.
you'll be able to get at least one quest in with him before Be Prepared comes live as well. So
Yeah,
it's not bad at all.
I think when more better locations come out, because obviously there are some good ones, but like a lot of them can also be a bit like iffy as well. Like you were saying, when more locations come out, this card gets better. But yeah, he is literally just 9 inks worth of stuff for 5 ink, which is just really good value.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty good. So if you have to give it a score, what are you both giving it?
Probably a 4.
Yeah, I'd agree on a 4.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll move on.
Yeah, he's just like.
We'll move on to Sapphire. So we have Grandma Tala. This is one of the most goofy looking arts I've seen. I think she just looks like she's on crack. On this card.
Lord.
She's basically I don't know if people will get this reference or not, but it's basically just a B-Tech Jafar, right? Like it's just the worst Jafar. I don't think it's bad. So it has the ability. Sorry, I'll quickly go over the abilities. It can shift on top of a Grandma Tala for 5, and then it has the ability. Do you know who you are? Whenever you put a card into your ink or gain on law. I do think it's strong. I'm not gonna deny that it's strong. I don't think it's as strong as Jafar is. I don't really think we've got that many shift targets for Grandma Tala as well, right?
No, just the one.
Just the one. Okay, yeah, and that one isn't like.
Well, no, I think there might be another one that comes out. But...
Okay, cool. But I mean, there are some combos you can do with this, like ink for turn, ink using Fishbone Quill, and then potentially if you have Ramp Bell out, you're going to be able to ink with that as well. So you can gain 3 law like that quite easily. And then there's also the new song, A Friend Like Me, where you and your opponent put, I think, is it top 3 cards from your deck into your Ink O'Reilly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like another way to gain another cheeky free law. So you could potentially, with everything I'm saying, you could potentially gain 6 law in one turn. But I mean, that is asking a lot more than what Jafar. Jafar is like potentially a 2-card combination. This is like way more.
This is more, in my opinion, more like if you're playing like a slower sort of Sapphire deck, it sort of just accumulates a lot of value over time. But like if it can just be answered very quickly, then this card just basically does nothing. It just like whenever you put a card into your ink or game on law.
I mean, the only thing I can argue for it is that I mean, Shift 5, if you have Fishbone Quill, isn't necessarily too hard to pull off. And also, the 8 health, if your opponent doesn't run removal, or even still decks, right? It's 8 health is like quite a lot to get through.
I guess steel decks have a very difficult time getting through 8 health.
Yeah, so I do think it can be potentially quite strong. It might potentially even be very strong into a Jafar deck, like as a blue steel deck. But well, I don't know, because if you Whole New World back, their Jafar goes off as well, right? Or is it only on your turn?
Yeah. It's just whenever it's exerted and you draw a card.
Okay, yeah. Or maybe in like a Forksicle control type deck, it could be potentially good against a Jafar deck as well. I don't know. Well, I can see this card being played. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as saying like it's not played at all. I just think it's not as good as Jafar, but I do think it's playable. So for that, I'd probably give it.
It's playable. It's like it's difficult to compare things to Jafar because that card is just in a league of its own.
I mean, yeah,
it's
but
like...
we have to put on it. Like if it wasn't for Jafar being in the set, I'll probably give this card a higher rating. But I'm probably gonna give it like a 3.5.
Yeah. What do you think, Josh?
I think the problem is it's costs 7. Obviously, if you can get up by turn 5, great. But you've got to have either a lot of cards in your hand that you can ink along with items allowing you to ink. But by the time you get to 7 cost, are you really wanting to put that much more ink into your inkwell?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you can get to 10 if you've got Bell out, great, then you've got that. But there does reach a cut-off point where, obviously, you have to choose card hand size over ink. If it's just a case of getting 1 ink for the 1 card going in, is it a good trade-off? I think it really depends on the decks.
I think I'd rather just play Hades turn 7 if I had to play.
I agree with that. I think Hades is a better turn 7 play. I think this could potentially. I think this could take the slot of Tamatoa potentially.
Yeah. It's just a very slow, grindy card in my opinion.
Also, I think Blue Steel is probably the best combination for milling people out now, because you can run 4 Friend Like Me for a Whole New World and potentially just make your opponent deck out.
It'll still be strongest.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go over to this next card. So this is our first item that's a legendary in the game. Before we go, so I'll read the effect of this card, but before we dive into it, I have a question for Riley. So the card is called Lucky Dime. It has the ability called Number 1. So you have to exert this card and pay 2 ink and choose a character of yours and gain lore equal to their lore pips. So Riley, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that only means characters that are on the field, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this card is ass.
Yeah.
This card is actually ass. This is probably, in my opinion, this is probably the worst legendary of the set. Or the next card might be. This is one of the. This is in the bottom 2 legendaries of the set for me.
Yeah, the next one's coming up.
Yeah. The next one's there.
This card only works with the magic of the spell. It only works with that because she can gain 7 lore, but that's very, very gimmicky, and like it just doesn't work. Like in my opinion, I think it's awful.
Imagine you're playing your 7 cost item just so Benja can come down and destroy it, bro.
Yeah, it's like literally just 1 Benja out to this. I think people are gonna, like, if locations become popular, people just start playing that 3 cost that gets rid of items and locations.
Yep, it's true.
So
it does suffer from that as well. Also, you need stuff on board, and if you ain't got stuff on board, this ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, this card is also a 7 cost, and Be Prepared also happens to be a 7 cost.
Yep.
So it's just like if you're playing this turn 7 and then they be prepared you, they basically just got nothing.
You're just crying,
It's just
bro.
like,
You're literally just crying. You're literally.
and the fact it costs 2 to tap it. Like if it for 7 cost, I'd want this ability to be free to tap it, gain lore equal to the thing. Like it's just ridiculous, and it's not inkable either.
Don't get me wrong. It can definitely be like used, but whether it's like a meta playable card, I would say no.
There's a Scrooge McDuck that goes with this card that says whenever he kills something in a challenge, you can ready one of your items. So I suppose you can ready this again if you really wanted to do that. But like, yeah, just I don't like this card. Oh.
Joshua, what's your opinion?
Bad. Yeah, I just think it's a much worse version of the purple spell book. I think if it was a 5 cost and inkable, it may be redeemable because it is 7 cost uninkable and you have to pay 2. And as Riley said, you've got to have something out in the field already. The chances for using this are very slim, and I think if you were to use it successfully, it'd be rare.
I think it's very hilarious that this card was balanced so heavily into not being broken. Because don't get me wrong, this card could definitely be broken. But they went out of their way to make this card bad, and like something like Jafar has just not had that treatment at all. They were like, no, let's slap it a like you're saying. They're like Ravensburger product design team was asked, how good do you want this card to be, and they just said yes. Do you know what I mean? Like for Jafar, and then when it comes to this, it's like this is a balanced card. This is a balanced legendary. Hence why it's not.
It's a balanced legendary, but it's not a good legendary.
Yeah.
Like this was a balanced legendary, and that's good.
Yeah.
This is just like it's one of the cards of all time.
True. I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, same.
Same.
Cool. We'll move over to. I really like this artworks version. I think it's what language is this? German, right? Or
yeah.
Mickey Mouse. Bugle Hall. So he's 4 cost uninkable. He's 0/1, but he has the ability to, when you exert him and pay 2 ink, you can play a character for free. So that's any character. Potentially, if we think the highest cost character we have in the game is 10. Yeah, you can play a 10 cost character for free. Whether that's good or not is very debatable. But yeah, like if you got, I mean, I don't think it's as bad as Lucky Dime. Like, I can see this.
Nah, this card is garbage.
I don't know.
Bad.
I don't know. I think this is more usable than Lucky Dime, but that's just my opinion.
No. This card is Lucky Dime.
I would agree with the husband on this one.
I think yeah, no, it doesn't have any place having 1 health, because it's just gonna get like there's so many things that kill it. It
doesn't even have resist.
Yeah. Teeth and Ambitions clap its cheeks. Storm Rage on. Grab Your Swords, sung by Ariel. Smash.
You will get away playing 1 character for
literally any steel removal card will kill this. Robin Hood, the 2 cost can kill this.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, the Robin Hood that everyone's gonna play just gets people just absolutely eat this card.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's just I don't understand. Like,
it's kind of a meme. Yeah, like
they printed cards like Jafar, and then they printed this abomination.
But if your opponent in the world where your opponent can't answer this like letting you play like like a Maleficent dragon next turn is so funny to me.
Yeah.
And like just for that alone.
Sure. It's just not. It's just not going to happen though, is it? Like in some world, yeah. If like your opponent opens if you open a really shit hand and your opponent has like a really good hand and they can keep this, like this card can just sometimes go in, but you're only going to get away with using this ability once, unless you have a bodyguard.
Yeah, I mean, unless you put it in the like, unless you give it resist or put it in like a water and evasive land like after. So
yeah, but even then, turn 5 is grab your swords territory. So if they just sing grab your swords, this card dies. It's just like
yeah, no, it
I
is.
don't know.
It is bad.
Yeah, I think if you're paying 4 and then paying 2, you might as well just play a 6 cost to spare.
But this is like more. This is like fun bad, right? Like I feel like Lucky Dime.
Yeah.
Like Lucky Dime
This
is not
just like
not even
go
fun
into some
bad.
really danky deck.
Yeah, like I think like Lucky Dime is not even fun bad. Like, but this potentially could be fun bad. Like you could run like turn 2 play mouse
At least with
armor,
Lucky
turn
Dime.
3 play mouse
At least
armor
with Lucky
again.
Dime, you can. At least with Lucky Dime, you can gain a buttload of lore with like Tamatoa out. This card, like, you will only get to use this ability once, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, bro, you can use him to play Pluto bodyguard, bro. They're not gonna kill him up through the bodyguard. It's fine. Wait,
yeah.
This card's OP.
Be prepared.
If I have to give this card a rating, yeah, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. No, I'm joking. I'll give it.
No. That's a 10 out of 5.
I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5 as well. Yeah, this has no place being in anyone's deck. I'm really sorry.
It's not very good in my opinion. I'd give it about a 0.5 out of 5.
I would also suggest not buying this card if you don't have to. Do you not buy
this card at all costs?
Do you not buy
this?
This
will be
card?
Gantu prices.
Yeah, this is Gantu. This is literally Gantu. You're right.
I was going to say, Ravensburger really and Disney really hate on the steel cards, don't they? The legendaries for steel have not been great, apart from, obviously last set we had Emo Beast, but otherwise, set 1, set 3 now.
Yeah, but
they really do throw in a bad steel.
I don't think you got a good argument there, bro, because they're like, set 1, yeah, I can agree, the steel legendaries were us. But then set 2, the best legendary of set 2 we had, so it's fine. Plus we get a decent.
They just give.
Yeah,
they just in return gave you the best what they super as, in with Stout Hearted Cinderella, you know,
Whole New World,
Giant Tinkerbell and stuff like that. Whole New World.
Yeah, I mean we got Whole New World
swords.
and Giant Tinkerbell in first set for steel. Actually, what color has had like a good legendary every set?
Well, I'm trying to think now. I don't think there is really like Amber. I think.
What did Amber get set 2? That was good though.
I think Mufasa has been alright.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can roll with that. Yeah, I guess Amber. Yeah, Amber. Amber don't miss. That's why Amber's the best color, bro. All right, so we have the last boy, a favorite for Josh, Mr. Robin Hood. He can shift for free, and there are some really good Robin Hoods for him to shift on. He has 2 abilities: skill combatant. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, gain 2 lore. It's very strong. Allows you to still play the field while gaining lore. Really good. And the goodwill of others. When this character is banished in a challenge, you may draw a card. So if you do decide to sacrifice himself onto another card, at least you get a draw off of it. So it's not like the end of the world. But
sacrifice himself.
Yeah, he's going to sacrifice himself. Yeah, it's not. It's okay. It's good. This is like it's alright. Yeah. This is probably like in the top 5 of legendaries from this set, but like barely in there. What we got? We got Ursula. We got Jafar, number 1. Probably. Actually, wait. 1, 2. Okay, no. Okay, I'll take it back. Maybe the top 6. The top 6.
Mm.
I'd probably play it. Definitely to test it out at least. I don't think it's like
Yeah.
awful. I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's great.
How much does the pinged, the Robin Hood that pings people cost? Is that 2 cost?
Yeah, it's a 2 cost, uninkable, 1 free.
Yeah, so I mean, 2 and 2 you play that, 2 and 3 you play this maybe.
Yeah, I think this is a very strong turn free play potentially. The only thing I don't like is that you're losing a body, so you're more susceptible to things like Ladies Remain and stuff, etc. But
I think it lets you keep up with aggro decks. Like the problem with Steel sometimes the early game is like just waiting to get that grab your swords or waiting to get that giant Tinkerbell.
I don't know. I can't let you say that because I think aggro just loses to Steel.
Yeah, but sometimes they can just get very far ahead. They might like.
I don't know. I still think it's like. I still think it's bad. Like into. I think aggro is like easy enough of a win.
This card helps you in a matchup that you're already winning.
Yeah, I think it can help with mid game like advantage.
It runs over Simba, which is nice. And you gain 2 or out of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. If not, it's questing for 2, and it's got like an okay stat line. So it's not really going to be in trouble until you get into the 5 cost category, and then Maui can take it out. But then you get to draw a card off of it.
I think what's going to make this card really strong is the fact that it can't be a long King Zeus straight away because it's a 3/6.
Yeah.
So if you play this, they can't just like instantly KO it. You've got like at least 2 spins of like killing some things and getting 2 or out of it.
It's also another way for Steel Song or potentially any Steel decks to sing a Holy World or sing powerful songs like Swords or even Along Came Zeus really early as well. Like you can do it on turn 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that to think about as well for sure. In terms of a rating, I'm probably giving this a 3.5 out of 5. I think this is alright.
Yeah, it's fair. It's just a very decent fair card.
I don't know if it will see play, but I mean, I'm about it. I'm definitely down to try it out a little bit, but I don't know if it will see
I think
play.
it'll see play.
Josh, what do you think about your boy?
I think he's a good card. I think being able to shift turn 3 on a number of different cards. Obviously, you've got 1 cost Robin, 2 cost Robin, also Green Steel, Morph. There's strong probability of getting this out turn 3. Knock off your opponent's characters gaining lore. It's a nice bonus having a card drawn from it. It's also strong enough to handle itself for a little while. I think for me, again, I'm going to pair this nicely with Milo. It's going to be 4 off.
I just don't like that. It's only when it's banished in a challenge that you have to draw a card. Like if a song or anything else removes it, it's just like Dunzo. If you get what I mean.
I think you've got to read it as if it sticks. If you trade with something, you can gain 2 lore and draw a card with it.
Potentially like this and the Queen could do like a lot of damage together as well. But I mean, I think that's still asking a lot, right? That's like asking for 2 shift characters out at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all of the legendaries from this set. Is there anything overarchingly anyone would like to say before we wrap up?
Fire's broken.
Fire's broken. Josh?
I think we've got a good range of legendaries for this one. I mean, we've got some utterly terrible ones, but I think generally it's a good selection.
Yeah, I just think I don't think Lorcana's heading into a good place with this set in terms of because of the Jafar card by itself. I think it's going to be quite bad for meta game. But I mean, there is a lot of fun legendaries that are usable, which is
there's a lot of very fair ones which I like.
Yeah, this is way better than set 2's legendaries for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, like hopefully Jafar won't be as broken, or someone will find something.
Or they'll ban a whole new wheel.
Yeah, no, I don't want that to happen. But I want like there to be at least 2 to 3 top tier decks this set. That are different color combinations. So, like it's always alright when it's like ruby, amethyst, and still amber, because it's really easy for me to make me and my partner a deck. But I think it's gonna be really difficult if both of them are like if we're heading into a tier 0 format, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think Amethyst Steel will definitely be a very strong deck, probably the strongest.
Yeah, either tier 1 or tier 0 potentially.
Yeah, there's potential for there to be like a green steel songs deck, which I like the thought of. But yeah.
Alright, so thank you for watching today's video, guys. If you are watching, thank you for your support, and thank you to Josh and Riley for joining me on this long video where we've gone over our initial thoughts of the Legendaries from the set. I don't think any of the super rares are necessarily going to be costing an arm and a leg. A lot of the good super rares from set 2, and in my opinion, the super rares were better than the Legendaries in set 2. They weren't too expensive, so I just don't want anyone watching to spend their money on like 50 of. I mean, some people even probably will list this Mickey Mouse at like 30 to 40 pound range when it first comes out. Please do not buy it for that. This card will be worthless.
It'll be £2 within a month.
Yes.
It's that.
So yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.